Okay, test. Here we go. Let's go. Take one. I'm going to start it. Right about now. Okay. What's up, folks? How you doing? Yom Tov. Hope you're doing great. This is my house. Welcome. Yes, we live in a cave. It's pretty awesome. And some of you guys may see it. You might check it out. Come down here to Banayan. You can work out here. I've got a little home gym set up with a bunch of weights. I've got it set up behind the camera as well. And if you're down, you can come to Banayan and we can work out here. It's a good vibe. I'm doing one tomorrow with somebody. We're doing an ice bath afterwards. So it's going to be a nice chill. So if you're down, let me know. You can come here. I host workouts at my house as well. So today we're just going to talk about doing some stuff that is going to help the body, encourage the body, less of a workout and more of just like priming the system, like lubricating the pipes, helping everything operate well. You got to change the oil and change the filter in your car, and you got to do all this stuff. So, we have to do that for your body as well. We can push it hard, but then we also have to recover and make sure that we're just doing maintenance stuff that's encouraging the body to move in the right ways. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today for some of our body parts. I just did me and my buddy did like a little pull-up challenge together last night, and my biceps are super sore from pulling, and my right bicep is way more sore. I'm like working to extend it all the way right now. It's like really tight. So I'm definitely pulling more from my right side. And that's something that I'm going to work on. And I know that we work on that a lot of the times with one-on-one people. Working on that, we do a lot of, checking in to find where the imbalances are and catching them. Like, we're always going to have little bits of imbalances, and we're always looking to course correct them, bring them in together. You're never going to achieve perfection per se. That's not necessarily the goal. But the goal is to not be like skewed off in like really bad direction where you're not able to get out of a particular movement. So like, for example, like a lot of what we've been doing together with a bunch of the folks has been around the ability to move your hips in space. And that is a very crucial movement it's just a foundational, fundamental movement. If you can't do that, then you're going to be challenged, you're going to be limited, you're going to be restricted, it's a liability for lots of various things. If you're just day-to-day, it's a liability, but especially also if you're playing sports, one, regarding to performance, two, regarding for injury risk and mitigation. So it's just a very important thing to be integrating into everyone's lives. As some of you guys have said, it's important just for, being able to get out of the car, feeling good, sitting down, picking something up heavy, being able to go and pick up your grandkids, you know what I mean, without, being out for 2-3 weeks, having to go on a bunch of medication, having to go and all of that stuff. So a lot of what we're doing is pulling out of one patterning as like a default, as like your body and brain and nervous system and synapse and everything just goes to that automatically. What we're trying to do is we're trying to rewire that and also distribute it and kind of diversify the portfolio, so to speak, of the portfolio of movements, patterns that you have access to and have availability to. So, for example, coming into a squat here, I'm in this position, and a lot of the times, if we can't access this range of motion through the hips, then I'm trapped in one position. And most people nowadays are trapped in this position where their hips are tucked under and they can't get out of that position due to just the familiarity of it. It's not necessarily, there are oftentimes where the muscles are weak, but a lot of the times it's just the inability. I've worked with people who they're strong in lots of various ways, but they just haven't trained that movement into their system. So it takes a little bit of cueing and like bing, bang, boom to be able to just calibrate and coordinate the body to move through that position. But once you're there, it's not that there's a lack of strength. So we will have to build it up, relatively a little bit, but you're not starting from nothing. So it's being here in this position. A lot of the times we get trapped in this diving forward position, or the knees come forward, and then when we load that up, then I'm throwing the weight into my back, right? I'm trying to think of something here that I can pick up, okay? There's a bucket of walnuts, harvested walnuts, okay? As an example, here I come down to pick this bucket up, right? Boom, I'm coming down. This isn't very heavy. Let's say it was heavy. Boom, I'm pulling 50 pounds. Right here, right into the low back, right into that position. My heels not even be on the ground. I'm coming down here, boom, and right into this position. Bang! Especially if it's something heavy, that is breaking power enough to disrupt our life, that's for sure. So the patterning is what moves us there day to day, and then it gets reinforced, it gets stressed, it gets a stress test. That stress test either builds it up, it challenges it and prompts a stimulus or response that is going to be a growth-oriented response, or it's going to be a response that it can't respond to because it doesn't have the proper structure to be able to receive it and then relay back. So if it's not the proper structure, that stimulus just comes in and applies pressure, it can't hold it and it breaks, right? So we're looking to provide the stimulus to the right pressure. When we get that, then we're going to get this growth response out of the system. So it's a night and day experience. It's a completely different experience. You know, the delta between these two things is like, you're talking about being in a negative versus being in a positive, right? It's like, if you were -1 and now you're +1, that's a delta of, 2. And it's a very big gap. You're not just growing 1, you're growing 2. And even more so, it's more on a compounded scale. So it's really, after you get past level 1, it's going to be like 2, 2 and 2, and then the delta is 4, and then it keeps doubling. You're going to 8, the delta is 8, you know what I mean? You're going to 4 and 4, 4 negative, 4 positive, that delta is 8. It starts becoming a very exponential curve in terms of how your body is responding and how you're feeling to the same stimulus, the same pressures of life, and you're just getting this better response out of your system. So we just have to put it there in order to allow it to do those things, to do that work. So instead of coming into this position where we're dropping the knees forward, right, we're sending it all into the quads and into the knees and into all of this joint and the ligaments and all of that stuff. That's how people get knee problems also, right? Back and knee problems, back and knee problems. That's where like 90% of the population right now lives, is back and knee problems. And so we're looking to pull it out of that. So now as you, the trick, I don't want to call it a trick, but the kind of protocol, more or less, for most people, I'm not going to say all people, but by and large, 80% of the population is going to be to go and sit down on a chair, get a chair, and we're going to sit down on that chair. I don't have a short chair right here available to me, but I do have a big stool. And this stool's a little high, but the point is that I want to be able to come down and sit back on it. I don't want to come here and sit like this. I want to stick my hips back, okay? And I want to take like a shoulder width grip, footing, or even a little bit wider, just a touch wider is okay. And you come down, and we're going to focus on getting those knees, keeping those knees out. What we do together oftentimes is we're always doing these external rotations with the knees, right? And that helps engage the glutes. And so we're doing that. The exaggerated form, right, obviously is like all the way out here. We're not going to squat like that. But the point is to be not diving in. So we want that external rotation so that we find a strong neutral zone. And now in that strong neutral zone, we're going into this positioning. I'm solid in my feet, okay? Ankles are in a good position. My knees are in this nice, strong, neutral position. So are the ankles. My hips are coming back. We're going to tilt backwards. Your butt is going to stick out. Come back, and we don't, again, there's an extreme end range here. We're not going to that extreme. We're finding that neutral zone in this direction of movement. So not the end extreme. So we are moving into this pelvic tilt backwards more so than this tilt forwards, right? But we're not going to go all the way. We're going to go about 3/4, maybe 6/10 of the way there, and we're going to come to this position here. We're going to engage the glutes and come down, and we come all the way to a sitting position, right? and then back up. And that's the difference between coming down into this squat. Now if it's the same thing and I'm sitting back down on something else lower, I'm coming down and doing the same thing. Here, there's going to be tension through the groin. There's going to be tension through the glutes. That's okay, that's normal, that's what we're looking for. We want to pull a bunch of the tension out of the knees and in the low back here. So we're looking to redistribute this tension into these structures, into the hinges, into the joints, into the muscles in the way that they're supposed to be delivered. And that's how we save backs, and that's how we save knees. That's the general, obviously, approach. Each person is going to have their own little tweaks and nuances. This person's left ankle, this person's right knee, this person's hip, this person's back, this person's neck, this person's whatever. So we all have our own things, but by and large, we're looking to get out of that one movement, move into this movement. And again, we want to be able to go to both sides. It's not a problem to be in one side. The problem is not being able to get out of it. So I want to be able to go into this type of thing. This is actually something that I am working on currently because, let me flip this camera around, because this is my indoor rings set up. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a little bright out. Lighting is not amazing, but bear with me. Okay. Get my to-do list out here. All of my life projects I need to do, that I get to do. I'm super grateful. So here's something that I'm doing right now. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go into this nice deep forward squat that I was just talking about is a bad thing, right? But the only bad part about it is that we can't get out of it. So right now, I'm actually personally, in my personal, like avoda, in my personal practice, I am working right now into these like forward knee dives. And I'm using this as a support so that I don't have to put so much pressure there. Why? Because my knees have been feeling a little bit sensitive lately, a little bit of tendon, a little bit of tendonitis type of sensitivity. I use my knees a lot, and I also use them in terms of impact, physical impact. I do grappling. I'm on the mats a lot. I'm on my knees a lot. So my knees get a lot of wear and tear. And so we need to be able to, help them recover. And so what I need to do is anytime, basically by and large, anytime as a rule, like things hurt, the answer is not stay away from it, don't move it, let it rest, like in like some sort of ketosis, like, don't touch it at all, let it do its thing. We want to prime it, we want to help it recover. So that means stimulus. That means a small stimulus. That means a little bit of a response. We want to be working with it. We want to massage it. We want to get in there. We want to start encouraging it. So I'm going to take pressure off by holding on here. I'm going to hold on here, but you could do it. You could do it here. This is a little high. Oh, my upper body is super tight because of all the pull-ups last night. And I'm just going to dive in forward by supporting myself here and working through it here, putting enough pressure into my knees. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this all the way, but I'm diving my knees forward here. Maybe take this a step back. One big step back. Okay, I'm diving my knees in forward, but I'm in a good structure. So if you see my structure, right, I'm here in my structure. I'm sending and I'm tucking under, but I'm okay tucking under. I'm allowed to tuck under. I can tuck under and go there if I know that I can control it and that I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm not completely inactive. I'm utilizing this structure for its benefit, and I want to stimulate. I want to stimulate the knees, and I want to stimulate some tension and work into that area to help prime those tendons and to help prime all the ligaments and the muscles and the fascia and the back and forth with that stuff. So I want to work into those areas nice and slow and not super intense. I want to let them get work in. And this is the case for all of our joints and all of our body parts. is helping guide them into new patterning and then helping reinforce that patterning. And so I'm going to go into this place to put a little bit of just weight and tension into my knees so that I can get a nice positive response out of them specifically. And then I'm going to work into the other parts of my lower body as well, into my ankles and into my hips. And I'm just going to do this. You know, I can do that. I'm not pushing too far or too hard. I'm taking a lot of pressure into my abs are actually getting a workout right now because I'm supporting myself in this stretch. My glutes are engaged. I'm supporting myself here. I'm feeling my knees work, and I'm feeling it in my lower quads a lot. And that's what I just want to work into. I want to work into this place where I'm facilitating blood flow, I'm getting a little sweat on right now. I'm beating up with a little bit of sweat. I want to get the blood flow going through that area. I want to work that area into a place where I feel good about it. And then when I feel like I've got the right work in, I did, however many reps is necessary, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. I want to transition back to regular squats and reinforce the patterning. So now I'm coming back to regular squats. My knees are real warm. And I'm going to come back into my squat, right? And drop down and work through the patterning and work through the positioning with my hips, with my ankles, with my knees, getting all of them on board and working these positions. That way I can really call and recall them. I'm going to try to not let my butt tuck under at the bottom here. Keep it. Keep it in that anterior tilt forward. Let the hips and the glutes work. Let the groin work. Let the quads work. Let the ankles flex. Let everything get their work in here. And I've got a nice burn through my whole lower body right now. And what we're doing is we're encouraging the joints, we're encouraging the muscles, we're encouraging the patterning. That's what we're looking to do. You can see I'm a little winded, a little bit of a sweat, and that's good. We want that. So that's just like a little bit of like walk through this. You guys can do that on your own. You don't have to use rings. I know some of you have rings. You don't have to use rings. You can use if you've got bands. Some of you guys bought bands. You can hang a band. I usually have a band hanging from here. And you can use a band to come down. You can use just a support, something on the side you can grab onto, or two things, or two chairs next to you, stuff like that. But I'm working on that right now. A lot of you guys, I would really encourage you to work through this position into a seated position with your knees in a nice strong neutral and the ability to move your hips through that movement all the way through the full range of motion, but then also stabilizing in that center position. So go ahead, work on it, and I'm excited to hear the feedback. Let me know how it goes. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.